YouTube, welcome back. First of all, I just want to say this topic is going to be extremely controversial, right? And I've seen the clip. I had to put my thought together because many of you guys may disagree with me. Many agree. Many of y'all might understand where I'm coming from when it comes to this, but I'm sure many of you guys have also seen the Sneako and Moist Critical debate. So far, they've only been criticizing Moist Critical due to his stance when it comes to the kids being able to cut off their sausage, right? Even though they're not of age to do such thing. For some reason, that's the thing that people are mostly focusing on. But me, I'm gonna go ahead and criticize mostly, not criticize, just comment mostly on what Sneako is trying to say. All right. Now you will understand why I'm saying this because I'm gonna bring proof as to why Sneako is saying what he's saying. And with that being said, if you like the video, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next clip. Let's go. Now, for some reason, I couldn't find the clip exactly of where, just Sneako and Moist Critical speaking without having to see another person reacting to it. But since this is so short, I'm going to go ahead and play this for you guys because the only place I was able to find it was under Nick Smirk's channel. He doesn't talk much in there, so that would give me a lot of opportunity to give you my feedback. And you guys will see exactly what I mean. And let's get it.
Believe in the age of consent does not mean that I want it to drop. Like, see, that's where, like, the internet can go apply that just because I'm saying...
Well, no.
No, because you're saying the definition of an adult is 18. I'm saying that's an arbitrary number, and that makes no sense.
Okay, and the reason Sneako is saying this is an arbitrary number is because based off of different part of the region in the world, the number differs. Some countries will say 16, some will say 17. In America, it's 18 currently, right? And so different places have different ideas when it comes to the age of consent. If you go to some village in Africa, somewhere in the jungle, you will perhaps find people who are marrying girls at the age of 10 or even younger. You don't know, right? And so one thing you need to understand is, okay, how do we decide what's the actual age of consent? And so I'm pretty sure that's what he's trying to elaborate on. Let's keep going, and then I'll get more of my feedback.
We should encourage marriage when people reach maturity. That makes much more logical sense.
That's even more vague, though. But also,
It's vague because it's different for everybody.
When someone can legally drive, they should be able to legally marry. You did say that to me.
Right. When somebody is legally ready to drive, the same thing. I think adults should drive cars. That's why I told you that.
Yeah, but 15 and 16-year-olds can drive cars. You said when someone can legally drive...
Across the world, 15 and 16-year-olds can have sex too. I think that people should not operate... See, you keep thinking that I'm saying this because I want the age to be lowered. That's not what I'm talking about at all.
That's what it comes across as, though. When you
maybe with the internet brain, because people in the West, they want to have sex all the time and they have a different sort of mindset.
Okay, so I think what Sneako is trying to say is, okay, rather than having a bunch of young kids whose hormone is off the chain, because when you're young, especially for the boys, right? When you're young, your hormone is just out there. You want to explore that desire. So what Sneako is trying to say is, why don't we get them married so that way they can do it in a way that is controlled? That way they don't go out and most likely end up catching the disease. If I'm not wrong, I think he's pretty much trying to say that we need to put more restriction on that. And the best way to do that is to get them married when they're at the right age, when they are pretty much mentally, physically mature enough to be able to understand the circumstance that they are going through.
Right. Here in the Middle East, I'm in the Middle East right now, they want to get married and then have sex. So people, just because I'm saying this does not mean automatically lower. No, that's not the case at all. I want to ask you then, because you're insinuating that it sounds creepy and that I sound like a pedophile. What's the definition of pedophile?
It is an adult who is attracted to children.
Yeah, it comes from the Greek word pedo means child and phile means love. So somebody who loves a child.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. An adult who is attracted to a child.
Yeah. To a child, somebody who has not reached physical maturity.
Yes.
That's the definition of child. Somebody who hasn't reached physical maturity. It has not.
So yeah, that's what I was trying to say, right? It's the fact that Sneako is advocating for the position of, if a girl or a boy has reached physical maturity, not just physical, but also mental, Okay, we should open the door of marriage to these guys, right? Instead of them having to go out there and having sex with so many different people to explore that desire, right? And so we should open the door. But one thing that Sneako fails to mention is that parents also has to be involved in the case of the girl or the boy getting married. The parent know the girl better than the boy, and the boy family know him better than the girls. And so in order for them to get married at such a young age, the parent has to understand that they are physically mature. They understand the circumstance that they're going in. They understand that there is a responsibility that they most likely have to bring a child into this world, and they are physically, emotionally ready to handle that kind of responsibility. And so all of these has to be taken into consideration when you're getting ready to marry off a young person who has reached the age of puberty. This should apply throughout the whole world. Why? Because like I said earlier, there are people who are getting married at 16 years old. There are people who are getting married at 17 years old. According to American law, this is considered as pedo. She is underage. But this is the world. This is how the world operates. And in fact, it was only in the 1800s when the age of marriage was 11 years old. And now they've brought it up. In the Bible, it doesn't even have an age in order for you to get married. It doesn't have an age. All right. What else? And then I looked into the Catholic Encyclopedia, right? And even in the Catholic Encyclopedia, you will see that Mary, when she was young, her getting married to Joseph, she was between the age of 12 and 14 years old. And so young people getting married, this goes back thousands of years. This is not something new. It's only now in the 21st century where we have put a limit on how old a girl should be or a boy should be in order for them to get married, right? And if you've seen the video, you will also understand that Moist Critical actually, in a sense, contradict himself, because the girls are allowed to, not the girls, the boys are allowed to, do a permanent damage to their body at such a young age, but they're not allowed to get married. Which is something that if you're not ready for, you can just opt out of it. Or you can say, I'm not ready to get married, and keep going. That option is open.
Nothing to do with 18. The definition of the word talks about physical maturity, not the U.S. government definition that you're basing it off of.
But there needs to be an agreed upon place. Otherwise, you get into this area. Again, you said when you can legally drive, you should be able to legally marry.
Right.
We don't have to talk about sex. Do you think it's okay to be marrying a 15 or 16-year-old? Probably not, right? I would imagine probably not.
It depends. So this is where the age of consent becomes arbitrary. I don't even believe that consent is a weird thing to even speak about, but it should be the father, right? If I want to marry a girl, I shouldn't even just get consent from her. I should get consent from her parents. She should want to say yes. Her parents should want to say yes. That's consent from the family, and then you get married. That's the Islamic way. That's the only way that makes sense. This American way of...
Yeah, and so again, see, I'm a Muslim, right? And so that's why I kind of have to defend my brother Sneako here, because, you see, the thing is, what he's trying to say is, when this goes back, okay? Because Islam came for the whole world. Islam came for the whole world, not just America, because America has an age limit of 18. Outside of America, there are people who are getting married are far younger than the age of 18. So what Islam says is, okay, this is going to be something that's going to be throughout history of mankind. It's just part of human being. We're going to have young marriage. Islam says, in order for you to marry a girl who has reached the right age, first, she has to be physically mature. She has to be mentally mature. The parent has to understand the fact that she is ready to get married, because the parent know her better than the boy does. So they have to know that, yes, my daughter is ready to get married. She understands the responsibility that she is going to be taking up on when she get married to this guy. She understands that she will have to bear a child, which is also going to be another responsibility that she has to take up on, right? So what I'm trying to say is, Islam has come for the whole world to try to put a limit as to how when you should get girl married. And I'm going to show you some history of people getting married at even ages that are far younger than that. And this is going back to what? Barely 100 years ago. All right. Islam came and said, no, You can't marry a girl that young because that's gonna do some damage to her because she's not ready for that age. Rather, you should wait and see these signs, right, that she is ready to take up on this responsibility of getting married.
This girl wants to have sex now. She gave consent, and then you get all these false allegations like, oh, she was drunk. Oh, she took it back. Oh, she retracted consent. All this stuff, like there's not even a specific way that we can define consent. What is consent? Some people say it's yes. Some people say it's like nonverbal communication. Some people say that it doesn't count because she was under the influence or she was intimidated. Even this is an arbitrary, is a weird way to define when you're allowed to be in a relationship with somebody.
You're kind of talking around it, though. Those are all very different things. Like I said, we don't have to be talking about sex.
Where are we going
I was
right
talking
now?
about marriage. The question was, do you think, and you said when you are legally able to drive, you should be able to legally marry. Do you think it is okay for an adult to legally marry a 15 or 16-year-old?
Okay, well,
no.
By my logic, if the man is physically mature, if he's went through puberty and he's mentally ready at the age of 16, he's an adult. If he wants to get married to another girl who becomes a woman,
No.
I
I don't know where this is going, but you know, even 18, man, you know, like there's this expectation here that when you're 18, you're grown up, you're an adult. Yeah, in the court of law, yeah, but bro, these people are kids, man. A lot of these people don't even grow up till they're 20.
Truth of the matter is, here in America, to be honest with you guys, I don't even like where the age of consent is. In my opinion, I think they should bring it up. Now, here's the reason why I say that. Some girls are not ready to take up on the burden of getting married or having a children. We've seen case after case of parents leaving their infant at home to go off into Miami or wherever, thinking that this kid is able to take care of him or herself at such a young age, right? Not just that, we've also seen parents neglecting their kids. Kids have poop in the diaper and they don't clean the diaper to where the kids start having rashes and disease and bacteria starts to grow in their pants and stuff like that. And we have cases of parents leaving their kids in a hot car to go into the supermarket for God knows how long, so much so that the infant dies in there due to being in under such high temperature, right? Based off of these evidences, I truly believe that, you know, some like the age of consent in America should go even higher, right? Because some of them are not ready. What I'm trying to say is the whole world. When you put the whole world, right, and you try to speak and try to control how the whole world should agree upon one way of getting marriage, in my opinion, Islam is the best way to do that. Islam says these are what you need to look for in order to get a girl married. Christianity doesn't have an age, nor does it set a restriction on how you should get married. The Catholic Encyclopedia, which I posted, right, that talks about the age of when Mary was getting married, and she was between the age of 12 and 14. And so a lot of, I'll probably say that Catholic will probably go based off of that, you know? I don't know exactly if they have an age restriction now. I'll have to go look more into that section, but
23, 24. I know that's not what we're talking about growing up, but I mean, like, you know, adolescent minds, man. You know what I mean? No experience. They're not ready for these things that this guy Sneako is saying that they're ready for, let alone marriage and sex and all these other things, man. I mean, this is, I don't know.
But you got to understand, Nick, is that, yes, they're not married for these things, but these are the same people that are out having a lot of sex outside of marriage. They're having sex day and night outside of marriage. So what Sneako is saying, okay, if they are free to do that, why don't we just, you know, why don't we get them married? So that way they're not out being hoes.
Agree with it, man. I don't agree with it.
Said an adult. Is it okay for an adult
right?
to
And I
legally
established,
marry
but we haven't even established exactly what an adult. So if somebody goes through puberty and they're physically ready, they're biologically ready, they're an adult. So they can, the two 16-year-olds can be considered adults by my logic.
We're not talking about two.
What are you talking
16-year-olds.
about?
We're talking about
We're talking
an
about
adult.
That is an
You're
adult.
arguing it.
Well,
It's from the
what I'm
perspective
saying
of
is that
adulthood.
so then what is an adult now?
Okay. We'll use your age. Someone who is 25. Is it okay for someone who is in their 20s to marry a 15 or 16-year-old? And let me explain, when you're doing your arguments, it's coming from an adult. I've never heard you say, like, two teenagers should be able to marry. Like, I haven't heard that with these takes. I'm talking about someone in your position in the 20s. Is it okay for you to marry a 15 or 16-year-old?
But teenager, even bringing up this term that has nothing to do with child and adult. So there's two phases. You're a child, and then you physically mature.
I don't know why you can't just
your
answer
body
that
become.
directly.
I'm saying the difference between a child and adult is when you're physically and when you're biologically, when you're mentally ready to have kids. Sex change, like Christopher,
I will say
these people
it's
can take hormone blockers.
It's a weird conversation.
You're not listening. This is the point. You could take hormone blockers. You could take puberty blockers. Okay, when you're a child. When you're 16, you can go change your gender, but you can't get married. Why is that?
Yeah, that's a fair point. As much as I don't want to admit
I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty obvious question.
No, it's not. It's not. See, if you cut your penis off, like Chris and Mr. Beast, if you cut your penis off, that is a life-altering decision. You can't glue it back on. You can get divorced if you get married. Right. This is a commitment that you're taking.
Fair too.
A child, based off the liberal point of view that you believe in, they can have gender surgery.
What's critical?
They can change forever. Do you believe that somebody can go through hormone therapy? Can they change their gender if they're a child?
And so, yeah, this is the part that most people really focus on, but completely forgetting what Sneako said at the beginning. So I wanted to really put a lot of emphasis on what he's trying to say, because Sneako is a new Muslim, right? And so he doesn't really have a lot of idea when it comes to explaining this, because this is something that even like all Muslims get criticized on. They say, "Oh, your prophet married a 9-year-old." It's something that a lot of people say, and I've seen many videos of Christians speaking about this, and I've also seen a lot of videos of Muslim elaborating on all of these things. Okay, and so again, Sneako is a new Muslim, so he doesn't really have a way to explain this in a way that will make sense to the majority.
I think that's totally fine as long as everyone is consenting.
Okay, so as long as everyone...
Parents?
Chad, this scene is so cooked, man. These YouTubers and these streamers and just this gaming community, man, it's just so different than what it used to be. And this world is changing. I don't like any part of this shit, man. How could he say that sentence out loud? Irreversible changes to the body as a child, as long as they have consent from the parents.
There you go. So what Moist Critical is also trying to say is what I've been saying, right? Is that he is saying that the parent has to take responsibility on whether or not if the child should go through something that is irreversible, by the way. Okay? Irreversible. And so what I'm trying to say is the parents should be the one to decide whether or not if the daughter is ready to get married off when she has reached the age of puberty. Okay? And again, the parent knows their daughter more than anything. They are responsible for the health of that daughter. So they have to make sure that the daughter does not get harmed in the process. They have to make sure that the daughter understands that what she's going through is a commitment, is something that has a very high responsibility, and that she has the mental faculty to understand that what she's going to go through is something that's very, very important, you know?
As far as this guy Critical is concerned. What?
Are okay with it, and you are okay with it. I think that's totally a familiar decision to make, yeah.
Okay, so a child can cut their penis off and take hormone blockers and change their biology forever, but they can't get married?
Well, that's a decision that now extends beyond the family, because now you're bringing in a different party. So if you have someone that's your age coming in saying, "I want to marry that child," I don't think that can happen under any circumstance.
So,
no.
But it's still a personal decision. You're still deciding.
Because there's
take the other party out of the equation.
Decision
it's a personal decision. If I'm 16 and I personally want to marry this girl, she's beautiful. She's 21 years old. Her family wants to do it. My family wants to do it. You're saying I can't do that. We're both consenting. I'm ready to go. I'm physically mature, but I'm not allowed to marry because Moy says that woman's a pedophile. But if then the next day I leave it, I'm depressed, I want to cut my penis off, I can go right into the clinic, snip it off, and start taking HRT like Chris Tyson. That's a society that makes sense to you?
It is. I believe
okay.
Everyone has I believe everyone has the right to do with their body what they want to do. Some things will never change about what I view as good and bad. But there are, again, some that will.
See, that's so... This guy Critical is talking in definitives, absolutes. You know, he said this. There are some things that are never going to change about the way that I feel, but that's not true. People change, people evolve, people grow. It's a for sure. It's a for certain in life. I know I'm talking different, but everybody grows, down or up, but we grow, man. Our opinions change. Does this guy have children? Because let me tell you here, buddy. Okay, if by some miracle, I don't mean to be a little disrespectful here, but 5'3", long hair, talking like this. If by some you got some money though, boy. If by some miracle you have a kid, this opinion of yours might change. Sneako as well, man. Does Sneako got kids? I don't understand both of these opinions, man. Like I don't understand the transgender, and I don't understand how Sneako is saying that a 16-year-old can get married, man. I mean, imagine that's your daughter, 16 or 15.
And you gotta understand, Nick Merck is speaking from somebody who lives in America, because here in America the age of consent is 18. So if I was to speak to Nick Merckx right now, I'll ask him, okay, what about people outside of America who are getting married at the age of 15? Who are you to go and tell them that they're not allowed to do that? So you kind of have to think about that. You know, America is not the only thing in the world. There are other countries out there. There are people out there who are getting married at far younger age than that. So how do you speak to those people? How do you tell them that what they're doing is wrong? Oh, the age of consent should be 18 because that's when the girl get mature. They're like, okay, all girls get mature when they're 15. How do you argue that? They can say that. They can say, we believe that it's 15. They can say, our girl get mature when she was 13 years old. They could also say that. And the only thing that you can go off of is, well, I'm from the West, and we believe that the maturity is 18 years old.
Or whatever it is over there. I have no idea. But imagine it is. Come on, man. She ain't grown up yet. She a little ass kid. I don't understand this stuff, man. It just seems so simple to me. But then I hear people like this get up there with these big followings and talk about it the way they do, and they're so sure, they're so locked in and locked on, and I'm just like, what?
Like in the case of self-defense.
Man.
Because I would say killing is always bad until it's not, like in self-defense. But there are things that would never change. For example, I'll give you one that will never change. Cold-blooded murder. You kill someone in cold blood, completely innocent person, that's never going to change, no matter what happens.
Because it harms someone. You shouldn't harm other people.
Yeah, someone has just died here. A completely innocent person is now dead.
So why can a child physically harm himself?
I knew that was coming.
So why could a child cut his penis off and harm himself?
Again, that's entirely the decision, and this falls right in line with my beliefs, that people can make their choices for their own bodies.
If I decide to say, man, it's clips not mags, and I decide to shoot you, that's a personal decision. Doesn't change the fact that it's wrong.
You've taken it out on me. You've killed me.
And from a personal decision.
That's looking at it from a very naive angle.
You said
you didn't make a decision for yourself. You made a decision to kill me. He and his family, he and she and that family is making that decision for that child's life. If that's the path they want to go down, it's like choosing a fucking sport. You can do what you want to do.
No, it's not.
It's not choosing a sport. Come on, Moise. That is the what? I played sport in high school. Many people play sport in high school. If they don't want to play football and they want to play basketball, they can just go play basketball. And so, cutting your sausage off is not like playing sport, because once you cut that thing off, that's it. It's gone forever. You can never get it back, ever. That's why depression is so high among the LGBT community, because they do life-altering surgery that is irreversible. It can never change ever. And now Moise is saying that is a sport? Completely disagree, brother.
You can do what you want to do?
No, it's not. You go play a sport, you quit, nothing changes. You cut off your dick, you can't glue it back on. This guy's a brick, man. This guy's a brick. I thought he was smarter than this, man. On God. I thought this guy was smarter than this.
But then you gotta understand, Moise Critical has a huge following, and so he doesn't want to say the wrong thing to piss off the wrong community. And that's why you kind of have to have a spine, right, into this day and age. And that's why I'm uploading this video, because I want you guys to understand my stance, all right? I'm a Muslim. Okay, and if you know, as a Muslim, we have a stance when it comes to the age of marriage. We know the age of we believe in the age of marriage. We believe that there should be a point where somebody should get married, right? And so, if you are somebody like Moist Critical, where you don't want to stand on, you want to stand on one side but not the other side, you're gonna get dragged through the mud. For example, like this, right? And Moist Critical is a very smart guy. I'm gonna give it to him, right? But if he had a strong stance, he would have been able to get himself out of this mud.
He just say right there. What was that? Is this photoshopped? This is AI. Why did Sneako let him say that, man? Well, what did he just say?
Yeah, that is not harming anybody.
It literally harms their body.
Oh.
Their body changes physically. They have the highest suicide rate out of any demographic.
That is their decision to make. It is their choice.
But it's not in
It's
relation
their choice.
to playing a
So why
sport.
can I not make the choice to shoot you and say it's clips on
You are
mouth?
harming someone that's not you.
Right. You're harming yourself by cutting off your penis. Same reason that suicide should not be allowed, because you're harming yourself. Why can I not kill myself, but I can cut my penis off as a child?
I mean, you can do that.
Right, but it's morally wrong to kill myself, correct?
I would say so. Yeah.
Okay, it's morally wrong to kill myself. Why is it not morally wrong for a 9?
Right?
If you're a doctor, to cut that 9-year-old dick off?
This guy.
But you've just changed two different things now.
What?
So are we talking from the doctor or the child?
Say I'm the doctor. I can't kill myself. Is it morally okay for me to cut off a 9-year-old's dick?
If everyone around that 9-year-old is giving you the green light that this is what they want, this is their decision.
Oh my God.
There is no one
He
being
can't have
harmed
kids.
aside from the person who is
He
making
cannot
that
have
decision,
kids.
and they are
There's
wanting
no
to do that for their
way
life
in
and
the
their
world
happiness.
that this guy has
Anyway.
kids, man. He can't.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stop right there, man. But this video has gone forever. Many of you guys probably won't even make it this far. But that's the thing, And I'm just gonna say, the truth of the matter is that Sneako made some really good point. He made some good point. I feel like he should have elaborated more on some of his stance, but maybe he did, because the video was like the whole debate was like 2-3 hours long. I didn't watch the whole debate, but you get the idea. Anyway, catch you guys up in the next clip.